Hey guys, we have an industry shortage in Australia, and I thought that I would talk to you guys about how to get your foot in the door, because I've seen online that a lot of people are still having trouble getting the job. And I figured that the first point of contact is a resume, so let's start there. So, as I said before, the first point of contact is a resume with any employment opportunity. It's pretty much the first point where they get to see who you are. And usually they will see all the writing before your face and before your personality. So I figured I would talk to you guys about how to put some of your personality into that piece of paper and sell yourself, because it would be completely amazing if we get so many more people in this industry. It is such a fruitful and loving industry, and I want to change the reputation that it has, because it is a fantastic place where you can make so many people happy while being creative, and it can be really fun. So let's go right into it. So with your About Me section, a lot of people just put in a lot of gibberish there. And when I was a manager of a salon, I would always get random things in there that were not relevant to the job. One person even went as far to say that they smelt good. So there is a lot of really interesting stuff being put on resumes. So I figured what I would tell you guys is, please make this job ready, like make it relevant to the job, because you want people to see who you are, but you want them to see that you're good for the job position. So things that you could put in there is, say, your passion for hair, your meticulous, like the way that you talk to people, stuff about you that is relevant to the job at hand. So stay task focused and don't put all this random stuff like I'm an avid video gamer who likes to play games at 1 a.m. Keep it task focused. It is okay to just pinpoint and tunnel vision towards that job with your About Me section. I also think that social media is a big elephant in the room when it comes to a resume, because these days most people are not self-aware when they're online. So for instance, my resume actually links to this YouTube channel that you're watching. I have so many different things out there, but I have redirected my resume to these things here. And I have done politics online before. Like, I used to be a politics YouTuber. That's not really me anymore. That's something that I used to do years ago, but it's not very fun anymore. And I felt like the political community on YouTube was very toxic, and I was so worried about people finding that stuff, because not because of anything that I did, because I was always very clean tongued, but I would get dragged into certain pieces of drama, and this stuff was not very tasteful. And I had this come up in job interviews before. Not anything bad, like it never stopped me from getting a job, because I was like, well, I still am a nice person. I'm not terrible about anything that I put out there. But the fact is that people will judge you on your social media, whether it's positive or negative. And I think that it is very important to be aware of that. And it's completely fine to have social media skewed towards the job. It actually can show that you have a passion for the industry, like I do, because I really want to see the industry bloom. I want to see it flourish. I want it to be this big, beautiful thing, and I want it to be taken seriously. You and I both know that hairdressing is a hard job, and it is a fantastic job and rewarding job. So I think that with me, my idea of bringing up social media with hairdressing is to benefit clients, to benefit my education, and to benefit other people who are out there who would potentially learn from it. So I think that little things like that can actually be in your favor, and it's completely fine to put them on your resume. I feel like it's a benefit. So I have, just so you guys know, I have a hairdressing Facebook page. I have a hairdressing Instagram. I have a hairdressing YouTube channel. I have a hairdressing podcast on Spotify. And I have hairdressing books on Amazon, as well as a Weebly website that I've made. So a lot of that is on my resume. I think that is completely fine, and that shows that I have a passion for the industry, because I do have a passion for the industry. And I think that if you guys do things like that and get really involved with making social media content for the industry, it will only benefit you in the long run, and it is beautiful on a resume if done right. As for hobbies, I have seen a lot of people say put hobbies on your website. Or not your website, your resume. I've seen people tell you to put hobbies on your resume. I think this is a great idea, but I think that going back to it, as I mentioned before, video games. Video games is one of my hobbies. That isn't something I really have on my resume. Like, I think that putting video games on my resume wouldn't resonate with the people who are trying to hire me. Like, yes, I used to do Twitch streaming. Yes, I used to make YouTube content with video games. I do play video games. I have over 600 video games on Steam and so many humble bundle keys that I could put on my Steam and play all of those games. Have I gotten 7,000 hours in Gary's mod? Yes, but is that on my resume? No. I think that it is important to be aware that your hobbies are interesting, but it doesn't necessarily need to be on your resume unless it's hair related. So I put in my hobbies section that I've written several hairdressing books, including a book of how to get a job. I have written several stories and all that. I did not put them on my resume. I did put that I make music on my resume because I do make music, and I figured that if I put that on my resume, it shows that I'm a creative person. But not only that, I could use my music for my content and have no copyright issues. So that is pretty cool too, to put on there. I know that most people probably wouldn't look at it that way, but I feel like it's good for them to know that I can make music, I can do hair, I can do a whole heap of stuff. So I don't put things like, I guess, that I like to jog here and there. I don't put that on there because I feel like that isn't relevant to the job, and you want to keep your resume as simple and concise as possible. So I also put my key skills, and I keep them separate from my hair skills. So key skills would be like that I know how to use programs like Shortcuts, and that I know how to edit videos, stuff like that. So I keep those separate from my competent hair skills, you know? I feel like that's important. But then I also keep my hair skills separate from my skills that I want to develop. So things that I want to develop would be things like extensions, working with coppers, and a lot of other different things that I have not been as strong in. But I think that it's important to let them know, hey, instead of my weaknesses, these are my goals. Because rather than saying that you have weaknesses, you can turn it around and turn it into opportunities. I think that that's a really, really cool thing to do too. So my short little too long didn't read of this is make your resume hairdressing relevant, but also incorporate your personality. I also would like to add that I have decorated my resume, but I've kept it looking clean. As you can see, I'll put it back here. My resume is very clean looking, but it is decorated. So I actually made my resume in, would you believe it, Canva. And I'm not sponsored by Canva, but I use Canva so often. It is a holy grail to making content. You can use it for YouTube thumbnails, you can use it for so many different things. But I figured that Canva is a beautiful program, and I thought that I would mention it since I use it quite often. Anyway, I guess that is it for resume building. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I really hope you guys get the job. If you guys have any struggles with trying to get jobs, like maybe we'll talk about how to do a trial or something a little bit later. But if you guys have any struggles with trying to get a hairdressing job, post it down below in the comment section and I'll try and address it, because I have worked at multiple salons, and most of the time, not all of the time, but probably 95% of the time, I have gotten the job that I have trialed for. There aren't very many salons that I haven't gotten the job for. But yeah, I guess that is it. I hope you guys enjoy this content and watch this space, because there is more to come.